Hi, I'm SwanSoda and welcome to a new series. I haven't thought of a name yet, so let's call it the soda pack. I don't know, I just wanted to review shit, really. I wanted to review stuff I enjoyed. So I thought there was no better time than the release of the DLC for probably my game of the year last year, Final Fantasy VII Remake INTERgrade INTERmission. Fucking hell, that's a lot of words. And before we begin, I just want to let everyone know that there will be no spoilers in this video for the DLC itself, for Final Fantasy VII Remake, or for vanilla Final Fantasy VII. I'm keeping it completely spoiler free, and honestly, you should love me for that. This is a DLC exclusive to the PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which normally wouldn't be a problem because they're giving you a free upgrade, but unfortunately, not many people have PS5s right now, so this may be one not many of us get to experience. And even though I'm glad my PS5 has some more exclusives, because a lot of PS5 games are also coming to PS4, there's nothing about this game that screams, I can't be on the PS4. So yeah, it probably should have got the release on the PS4, but that's not to say that this game isn't gorgeous. I haven't played the rest of the PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake yet, but when I do, oh my god, this game looks phenomenal. One of the best looking games I've ever seen. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the DLC. So this is the INTERmission DLC for Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's kind of a side story, kind of goes along the real game. It kind of takes place during the story of the main game, and it stars Yuffie, who, again, this isn't a spoiler, is an optional party member in the original Final Fantasy VII, and it is insane that she got her own DLC. Like, we knew she'd be included in one of the later games because she's too important not to. She's too loved as a character to not be included. Obviously she wouldn't be optional, she'd be forced now, but to get her own DLC and be the star of the show for a few hours, that's amazing. There's also another new party member in this DLC, Sonon Kusakube, and he's alright. I like his character, but unfortunately he's not playable. Square seem to be, only letting the original characters be playable, which I think's a bit of a shame, because I think 2 new playable characters would be fair for this DLC, and I guess they don't plan to bring Sonon in the future. I'm sure if he was going to become a member of the party in the next game, if they expanded the party to have Sonon in it, I'm sure they would have made him playable here, so he could be playable later, but unfortunately, he's not playable, and I would have liked the 2 new characters, but it's okay. And the reason it's okay is because Yuffie is, by a mile, the most fun character in this series. Oh my god. Before this, I thought it was a tie between Cloud and Tifa, but Cloud's a bit kind of clunky when you're swapping between his 2 modes, and Tifa, yeah, she's fun and she can build stagger, but I don't know, there just feels like there's something missing there. Yuffie is the everything machine. And to be fair, she kind of has to be, considering she's the only character. She has every kind of magic built in. No materia required. She has every range. She can do range damage and she can do damage up close. It is phenomenal. And even though you can't control Sonon directly, you can give him commands and you can now do team attacks. And these team attacks are so satisfying, do so much damage, and I can't wait to see how they expand this mechanic in the later parts. Seriously, if I watch a trailer and Cloud grabs the Buster Sword and Tifa jumps on it and he fucking flings her up in the air and she just kicks loads of people, I'm gonna go crazy. I can't wait to see what they do with this. But this DLC is as mechanically and gameplay wise solid as the main game is. During my playthrough of this DLC, I did pretty much everything you could in a single playthrough. I haven't done New Game Plus, and I haven't done any of the side content you get in the main game for purchasing this DLC, but I did everything you can in one playthrough, and this playthrough took 5 hours, which I think is pretty decent for the price. You get the gameplay, you get the story, you get some cool optional side modes like the box breaking minigame from the main game is back here in the Shinra building, and you also get the Fort Condor minigame, which, oh my god, is amazing. Genuinely one of my favourite minigames of all time in a game. It's exceptionally fun, and my biggest complaint about it is there's not enough battles. I wish there was even a random battle sort of thing to make it infinitely replayable. Honestly, if this had online multiplayer, I'd be playing it all day. Make Fort Condor a mobile game. But the game recommends it to you, and I recommend it to you as well. Definitely play Final Fantasy VII Remake first. This story kind of happens alongside the game. It happens more in the first half, sort of, maybe 1/3 of the way in is when this DLC starts, and it doesn't really have any major time jumps or skips. It's all at that point up until, you know, the end where we get some bonus scenes and teasers for what's to come in the future. I also recommend that you should probably play the original and have a good knowledge of Final Fantasy lore, because this one goes a bit wild. In the trailer it shows us Deep Ground, the villain group of Dirge of Cerberus. They are involved and they do not explain who they are at all in this DLC. You could still enjoy it without knowing who they are because their role isn't too major, but that knowledge will definitely elevate your gameplay experience. Also, the production values in this DLC is crazy. It's just as good as the original game, and a lot of times with games in their DLC, you don't get that. They're not as good. But the production values here are absolutely immense. Like, there's one scene which I'm going to put up here where Yuffie is kind of serving as a distraction, and she makes this amazing, like, it's such a Yuffie entrance, you know? She's showing off about how she's a ninja and how talented she is, and the background's going insane, and, you know, nothing like this happens in the main game, but it really suits an animated character like Yuffie, and it's insane the little touches they've done. Also, whoever on the sound team decided that the ninjas need their theme to be some freeform jazz is a fucking genius. And I know I've said it before, but this game is gorgeous on the PS5. I played it on performance mode. I'm definitely more of a 60 FPS than a 4K fan, and it looks so smooth. I didn't have a single frame drop throughout my entire playthrough, despite how much crazy stuff there was going on screen, and it looks beautiful. Production values, amazing, and the boss fights and the scenarios they make really bring out the beauty of the game. They really design these scenarios around how great the graphics are and how flashy the game can look, and it really is a solid experience. My only complaint about this DLC, aside from there not being enough Fort Condor content, is that it ends a bit abruptly. When I was playing the final boss, I didn't know it was the final boss. It's not as climactic and as cinematic as you want it to be. It's a brilliant boss fight and the atmosphere is amazing. It's just not climactic, if that makes sense. It's not big and cinematic, it's very subtle and it kind of goes for a scary vibe, and it's beautiful, it's amazingly well done, but I didn't notice it was the final boss, which I think kind of detracts from the idea of a final boss. You want it to be this big climactic fight. I didn't really know it was the final boss, so I'm going to have to take some points there. And yes, this is a side story, it does happen alongside the main game, but that doesn't mean it's not canon. I'm sure some stuff that happens in this DLC will have importance later, and some of the little teaser scenes at the end are amazing. One of them literally reduced me to tears. I'm going to post my reaction of that. I'm sure you guys will love to see me cry over the ending of this game. But seriously, if you're even slightly involved in the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I definitely recommend you pick this up. It's an amazing experience, it offers unique gameplay, amazing cinematics, and a beautiful ending, which really has got me hyped for part 2. For this series, obviously I'm reviewing things, I'm going to give them scores. I'm going to score them out of 10 sodas. I could do out of 10 points, but hey, branding, soda, SwanSoda, you see how it fits together. So I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10 sodas. I'm a massive Final Fantasy VII fanboy, and I might even put it up to 9 for that ending alone. It is phenomenal, but I'm trying to leave biases aside. I would give this a 9, but I'm going to give it an 8. So if you've played this DLC, what do you think? If you watched me play this DLC, thank you for hanging out. I streamed this entire adventure, so if you want to check me out on Twitch, go in the description below. Comment down below what you thought about this DLC and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more episodes of the Soda Pack in the future. I'll see you later.